Hello, welcome to this week's episode of the Irish Fantasy Punts. Dan, Jamie, and Shane with you for another week of fantasy football, the first week of fantasy football of the year. We're going to do the waivers, talk about this week's football, and talk about next week's football. Shane, Jamie, do you want to say hello?
Hello.
That's right, lads. Jeez, that intro's a lot longer than I remembered. Does that feel like it was really long? I don't know.
It's really awkward when you're just looking at a computer screen and that's playing out.
Just staring at Dan's eyes.
I think it's bringing back the trauma from last year, Jamie. Your long season is just we were on so much.
Another loss.
I know. It's time to gloat. The worst win ever.
This week is he meant to go on as well, Jamie?
Actually, do you know what? I wasn't too upset. I'm actually quite happy with my team. I know it didn't score very well, but that's actually good. That's actually confusing. Yeah, it wasn't too bad, but you know, we got there.
At least he only played that for you for a week one loss. He played that for me last year when I got fucked out of the playoffs.
Well, next week now, I'm hoping that Josh Allen and Kelsey be back properly, and we're back in the train to the playoffs.
Just be missing Aaron Jones then.
It wasn't a great week for the injuries for everyone to start off. We've had 2 Achilles tears with J.K. Dobbins and Aaron Rodgers. So that's basically Garrett Wilson gone for a lot of people. We've also lost Waller had a hamstring pull. Kupp had a hamstring issue. Kelsey had the knee bruise. It was a bit of a vicious week one.
Kelsey and Kupp didn't even make it to a game to get injured.
Thank God.
It's like you were depressed before kickoff started with those two.
Well, at least Kelsey's supposed to be back this week. All by all the news reports. So that's good.
Yeah, well, like at least you drafted the only 2 people who seem to be able to catch a ball in Kansas City.
Yeah. which was a great call. Drafting
great
Rice. Like
Darius Tony and Sky Moore were atrocious.
I think
they made MVS.
Sky Moore was awful.
Look class.
The whole weekend was a bit of a mess though with the actual offense. Like we had a Bengals team that completely imploded. Tannehill can no longer throw a football, so Nuke didn't look too happy. We were all over the place really with bad quarterback play.
Yeah, it was sad week for quarterbacks. Like Trevor Lawrence, I thought looked outstanding. I was delighted I drafted him, and then I was like, oh, threw a pick. Doesn't look great now. Then he got back to it. And I was like, I'm playing against Jamie with Josh Allen against the Jets. Great defense with Josh Allen. I was like, I'm going to get smoked. That's the end of my win this week. Josh Allen is going to destroy me. And he got 9 points.
That's
like,
right.
Wow.
Yeah. It kind of says it all, Joe, when Mac Jones was like the number 2 fantasy quarterback of the week. You know, that kind of sums up the week, really.
He actually wasn't too bad. Like if it wasn't for that Eagles defensive touchdown, it wouldn't have been too bad a game for the Patriots.
Yeah, like against the Eagles defense as well. Like is Mac Jones now a guy to watch? Like he's waiver wire for most leagues. Is he a guy? Is he the Geno Smith of this season? Mac Jones.
I would not imagine so. No.
We all said it about Geno early last year. This time last year, we all said, Geno's a flash in the pan. He's got good receivers. Mac Jones doesn't even have good receivers and played outstanding against one of the best defenses in the NFL.
It's true. Who did it have? Oh, the Dolphins. Dolphins and the Jets, and in Dallas. So no.
No.
I'd say I said hold off until week 5. The Saints week 5.
No, again, the Saints defense,
No.
man, was class.
Yeah, no, I said stay away from it. No, stay away from it.
Let's hop into the review of the week then, because we're already touching on it all.
Fine work, my boy. You've done it. You're a true hero.
That was just for the Dallas Cowboys defense, I take it, was it?
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, let's start at the quarterback. So we'll make our way to the highest fantasy point scorers, the Dallas defense. But let's start with the quarterbacks. So who do we have top of the list? The quarterbacks, Tua. Tua had, well, Tyreek Hill kind of had the assist there.
Hey.
With the aforementioned Mac Jones as well. Jordan Love had a decent game. Jamie, do you want to go into your Jordan Love now?
Oh, God.
Yes, we are back. Fucking back. Yes. Like, they were comparing to Aaron Rodgers there yesterday, and he had like a better passer rating than Rodgers' first game, and it's just Packers are back. Again, no, I'm joking. Before Shane has a heart attack.
He played 4 snaps and snapped his Achilles. You're like, he had a better first game than Rodgers.
No, Rodgers' first game.
Like,
Not
what?
today. Jesus,
Well,
I had a better game than Aaron Rodgers this weekend. Like, that's mean. That's what
That's what I was like. I was like, what is this guy doing?
Sitting at the top of the running back rankings, Aaron Jones with an injury to go with, but we can talk about that when we look at waivers. Austin Eckler and Christian McCaffrey are good. Tyler Algier smashing into the top 5, and then Tony Pollard. Nothing to say on any of those running backs.
Yeah, no, great impact for Tyler Algier. Like, if you actually picked up Tyler Algier, and played him, because you could pick him up, sit him there behind Bijan, but like, if you actually played him, good on you. Like, I think we talked about it on the very first show that we thought he could be feasible behind Bijan. So he's showed week 1 they're going to give him the ball. They're not going to shy away from giving him the ball. So hopefully for people who drafted him, it continues. The rest of them, not really surprises up there, are they? Eckler, Aaron Jones, McCaffrey, Pollard, ETN had a great week as well.
Yeah.
Tank Bigsby kept fumbling everything. It was getting quite irritating.
Yeah, I think they're probably the top 5 that you're going to expect. You know, like, I think Jones going to have a big year because Dylan just looks like he's regressing every time he plays. He just doesn't look much good anymore. What was interesting though was a lot of like the 50-50 splits. Like the Chargers with Kelly and Eckler both had top games, and you had Bijan and Algier who also had 2 big games. It seems to be like a split going on at the moment where you can actually play these guys, which isn't something you would have seen very often.
Yeah, Kelly looks like a beast as well. He was very strong in his running.
Kelly was brilliant today. Absolutely brilliant. You would actually think he was the RB1 there. So if only
Eckler picked up an injury as well, didn't he?
Did he?
Yeah, he's questionable for next week. Yeah.
We'll
move on to the receivers then. Anyway, Tyreek Hill. Oh, that was a big boy game. Brandon Ayuk coming up in second there. Jacoby Myers out of nowhere, but he got a nasty concussion, so I don't know. Can you really pick him up? Kendrick Bourne, Stephon Diggs, Michael Pittman. Actually, going back to Myers, probably pick him up and put him on the IR because, geez, he looked very good. He looked surprisingly good. Like,
yeah, Jimmy G seemed to really like him, and I don't think he was there. I think they drafted Myers the year they traded Jimmy, if I'm right. But if not, like, it looked like they had played together before, like, that game. Like, I know obviously preseason and stuff, but it looked like they knew each other inside out. Like Jimmy G just loved throwing the ball to Jacoby Myers.
Yeah, well, on Twitter today, I saw there was like the fact that Adams didn't get so much ball because Jimmy G couldn't throw the ball far enough to get to him. So that's where it was actually falling onto Jacoby Myers.
Oh my God. Well, maybe he's just not allowed to throw it that far because they saw what happened in San Francisco. They were like, once it goes over 30 yards, it's a pick. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
But yeah, like Stephon Diggs, surprising the big game he had with Allen having such a poor game. Like that to me was very surprising. And Jamie, your old best friend that you didn't
my
draft
arch
this year,
nemesis.
Michael
Yeah.
Pittman.
Probably the accumulation of all the points he got last year.
Yeah.
Well done, Michael. Well done. What a sad life you have, Michael. Sad
But
life.
I have to say, I didn't expect that out of Pittman. I thought Richardson, I liked Richardson coming out of college. Didn't play in one of the top divisions, but great quarterback, great numbers. But again, when they're not coming out of a top division into the NFL, it's hard to kind of judge. Went real early in the draft, thought he was going to be more kind of a Lamar type, but he really got Pittman involved. Like Pittman had a great game, nearly 100 yards, 8 receptions, touchdown, 11 times targeted. Like fantastic game for Pittman. Like
Colts looked okay.
Yeah.
So the tight ends then were kind of just a bunch of players that you wouldn't have played. Hunter Henry, Hayden Hurst, Donald Parham, Blake Bell, Hawkinson sitting there at number 5, but then Bryant is number 6. Like nobody had a great day at tight end for the players that you would have actually played.
Did we get the carousel noise on this year? No, because this was like the perfect week to play it.
The dust hasn't come off of preseason yet. I don't know where my carousel noise is, but I can play you this to show how bad they were. I think basically everyone got zeros that you were actually going to play.
Well, not me. I had Fryermuth, and he got 6.8 because he caught a touchdown.
Well done, Pat. Well done.
Well done, Pat.
Yeah, good lad. He's a good man, that Pat.
We'll go straight to Shane's defense of the Dallas Cowboys with 40 points.
Oh. You're not just brushing over my guy. I'm all like Dallas Cowboys defense, woo. But you are not brushing over the fact that my guy from 2 years ago, Nick Folk, was kicker of the week.
It's back, baby.
Week, man.
It's fucking
He's going to come back to the kicker. You could close on that. I actually was going to come back, but now we don't need to do it. So that's over now.
That's enough.
Okay, yeah. Dallas Cowboys defense, highest point scorer of the week of anyone in fantasy. Didn't concede a single point. Daniel Jones in therapy. Saquon Barkley talking about retirement. They were outstanding. Dan Quinn has that defense unreal. If you drafted the Cowboys defense, just don't expect that to happen again.
They have a nice game this week, don't they?
Yeah, the schedule isn't actually too bad for the Cowboys. They're coming up against the Jets, so the Jets, no Aaron Rodgers, Zach Wilson. Yeah, so again, you would hope that'll be a good game, but I think they're going to go to Cook and Breece Hall a lot. I think if you have Cook or Breece Hall, they should definitely be starting in your lineup this week. Then you go to Arizona. They were ass.
Yeah. New England. Nice easy game there as well. You could potentially win your first 3 games on the Dallas Cowboys defense.
I know.
Yeah.
It's such good times to be disappointed by Dak in the first round of the playoffs yet again.
Okay, that'll round out the recap then. I should have said, if you have any questions, drop them in the chat and we can try and answer as many as we can as they go through. But I suppose now our next thing is to move on to our pickups then for next week is probably the best place to go.
Avengers! Assemble.
I forgot how long. There's a middle part of that. It takes ages. So who's your, like, we have the injuries this week. We have J.K. Dobbins is gone. So that's probably the best place to start. Who do you think is your pickup? Justice Hill or what was it? Gus Edwards is the other running back that you could probably pick up there.
It's the Gus bus, isn't it? Like, I'm not going to Justice Hill. Are you going to Justice Hill?
I'll probably go Justice Hill, yeah.
I think I'm leaning Justice Hill. Yeah, he got all the running.
I don't know.
But again, it's again this kind of Ravens crack again. Like with the same thing last year. Who was it? Edwards, was it Hill, and who was it on? We all had one at one point.
There was another one, wasn't there? There was a third one that
one of us I can't think of. But we all had one at one point. I can't remember, but it doesn't matter. But it's the same crack again. Like Do you know?
Latavius Murray?
Maybe it was. That sounds kind of familiar.
There was like Latavius Murray, Devonta Freeman, Justice Hill, Gus Edwards. There was a mismatch of just horrendous players we could have picked from.
Awful.
Well, you got the Gus bus, did you? Like he got like one 10-point game.
Yeah, he had like one good game and then like just disappeared. There is you could skip all of this order. Like Cam Akers had a terrible week 1, and he almost looked like the second running back to Williams. So, would you take Justice Hill or would you try and hop on Williams for next week? Maybe.
Oh, Justice Hill.
Jesus, no, I'd lean more towards Kyron Williams.
I don't know. I don't get the hype. Like, I don't know. I think that whole Rams game was just a bit of a fluke by him. Like, I don't think they're that good. You know, I think it's just one of those weeks where it just all fell well for him. You know, like, I don't know, Akers probably would have got all those points. He's something like, I don't have in front of me now, it was like 29 carries or something, was it? Something stupid like that for like 30 yards. It was something crazy like that. But the only reason Kyron Williams got it was because Akers was so crap towards the goal line that they just handed him off the ball and they got 2 touchdowns. That's not how it's going to happen.
That's in one of our mock drafts. I did say I would take Akers purely because there was no one else there, but that might be the argument for Williams this week. Like, is Akers actually anything at all?
He just looks very bad.
Yeah, like it does not look good, does it?
Not really. So really the 4 pickups we kind of look at this week are Justice Hill, Gus Edwards, Williams for the Rams, or then Joshua Kelly for the Chargers.
Well, Kenneth Gainwell is available in about 70 or 65% of leagues on the app we use. Like, he had a great game. Well, not a great game, but he had a serviceable game this week. So if you're looking for someone to jump in there in the Philly offense, Gainwell might be your guy.
Because it's not DeAndre Swift, on it.
No, it's not. No.
No, it is not.
Yeah.
I think Kelly there is a great shout. Kelly looks very good.
Yeah, I like Kelly as well, man. But it's the thing in like once Eckler gets going, how often is he going to get in?
Yeah, I wouldn't play him, but I think if you have a space in your bench, stash him for a few weeks, see how it goes. Watch if you lose.
So if you're
got a question there.
It's a trade question. So trade Sutton for Zay Flowers. I assume that's Cortland Sutton. I'd get Zay Flowers over Cortland Sutton straight away. If I could trade Sutton for Zay Flowers, I'd be Zay Flowers, I'd be all over that.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, there's not much saying that. Yeah, just take it.
Yeah, Zay Flowers is a beast. Like,
yeah, definitely. I would definitely trade something for Zay Flowers.
You got a bit of a disco going in the background there.
Yeah, I'm having one of those technical difficulties. It slightly got dark here, and I turned on the light, and for some reason, the light is multicolored. I don't really know what's happening.
It's disco shade.
Every time he wins a week, he has to have this light on.
This is like one of those really confusing moments. I'm sure there's a control for it.
It's okay. It's all right.
We'll
for anyone not watching us, Shane has just turned on like a disco light and for some reason is having a party. But anyway, sorry, Dan. Move on.
we'll order up these running backs then. So it's your waiver claims. What way are you going?
I would go Hill first, and yeah, I think Hill is more upside. I go Hill, Kelly, and then probably Williams. But I wouldn't take Williams.
Shane?
I think for me, if Gainwell was available, I'd take him. We just say he's not because he's rostered about 35% of the time. I would take Kelly, Williams, then Hill. I would actually go Kelly, Williams, Gus Bus, but I think Gus is going to get more involved. I think week 1, hard to know what's going on there. Like, was he ready to go? Did they have a whole lot of things planned with him? I think week 2, it's Gus Bus will take over.
I'm going to go Hill, Williams, Kelly with mine. I think Hill probably has the best upside Williams could easily become a starter, and then Kelly. I'd like to have Kelly with the Eckler injury, but I think you're kind of always looking at a 50-50 split there at best.
Yeah, like that's still like most offenses they were kind of going down that route after that. Like you see a lot of this workload share like that they're doing.
Yeah, even if Algier is available in leagues, he's probably not available in leagues. But if he's there, I'd pick him up in a heartbeat. I'd probably take Algier above all of these players if he was available.
Oh yeah,
they're not going to pass the ball. And then for wide receivers, is this new hotness out of the Rams? Nakua, I'm not sure if this is even how you say his name. Is it Nakua? But he seems to be the wide receiver of the week.
I am not picking up a Rams player.
They just dominated the Seahawks.
I don't care.
It's the exact same thing that you just said about Williams. Like, it's a flash in the pan. They played well 1 week, but they're not going to do that every week. So Nakua is not the new Cooper Cup.
So then what are you looking like Jacoby Myers then? Dobbs?
I think Jacoby Myers is a great pickup because he does look like he... Yeah, I think he could... But he's definitely going to be involved for the rest of the year. So he's definitely a guy that you could definitely flex in your team if you need a wide receiver. 100%. I don't think there's a whole pile on waivers this week, really, because I think cost the Rams, because you've got two Apple there as well, who's getting really inflated as well. But, like, do you want to take two Apple? Probably not. Yeah, I don't know who to take on waivers this week. The whole pile of nothing, really.
Oh, yeah, I can see Odell is sitting on our waivers, but he can stay there. I'm not looking anywhere near that way.
Cavante Turpin for the Cowboys. Got a little bit more action. Returner. Broke a few last year. I think he could be a sneaky little option for a 1 week pickup if you're like bye week time. As long as he doesn't break out before that, he might have a great game or something next week, but I doubt it.
Cowboys have a lot of options, don't they?
Yeah, that's the only thing as well. Like, it'll be hard to see who's going to, like, obviously CD is going to get his touches, Tony Pollard's going to get his touches, but I think Cooks and Gallup look like they're very much hit and miss this year now is what they're going to be.
Then Allen Robinson, I can't recommend him to anyone purely because Pickett did not look any which way good. And Allen Robinson wasn't any way good last year, so the combination doesn't sound good to me.
No.
Tight ends then, is Sam Laporte at the top of everyone's list, or are you looking at Adam Troutman, Gerald Everett even?
I think Hayden Hurst, dude, no? Like, he really did seem to be Bryce Young's favorite target. Like, Hayden Hurst is available in like 80% of leagues.
Yeah, I don't know. Bryce Young looked very bad as well, but I suppose he was the only one getting any sort of targets, wasn't he?
That's it. Like, when you have a rookie QB come in and your offense isn't exactly fantastic, like, tight ends tend to get a lot of work on them check down routes and kind of out routes and stuff. Like, I think Hayden Hurst might be a surprise this year as to how much production he might actually get for at least the first couple of weeks of the season till Bryce Young gets comfortable.
Yeah, I think it's a decent call. Did like Laporte, though. I think he was really good this week. That looks like an offense that could use him a good bit too. But again, like it's a tight end carousel really, and just gonna pick him up and hope for the best.
Yeah, Detroit though, aren't they? Detroit they just look good on offense. Like they were one of the few teams from this weekend that played Thursday night, not at the weekend, that looked really good.
They did, yeah, they really did, and Laporte looked good too. You know,
as like he did. He looked very
rookie
good.
tight end too. You wouldn't think he'd be in the game that much, and he was. You know, so surely he's only going to get into him more.
Like fantasy is notorious for like rookie tight ends just not doing well in fantasy ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it doesn't help when you have quarterbacks like Marcus Mariota that year with Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, well, Pitts is just crap. I think we can all agree Pitts is just not that good.
You're not that guy, pal. You're not that guy.
You're not that guy, but
he's just not getting any targets.
Yeah, but if he was that good, he'd surely get a target or two at this point.
Well, like they just got rid of Mariota for like his younger brother Ritter. it's like Ritter may as well be like mini Mariota.
Hell, son, you're about as useful as a cock-flavored lollipop.
Facts.
Let's move. Let's move on to next week's games. Then that I think we've covered the waivers there enough. There's no real standout in the waivers, is there? Just the running backs you're kind of looking at.
Yeah.
Like
I don't think you need to jump on waivers this week, really, unless you really need to. Like even I was looking there today, and I was like, I don't think there's much I really want. So I think if you can, hold off.
Don't waste your fab.
Mm-hmm.
Right, let's move on to next week then and see if we can find any good matchups. I'm just going to play this one to get us into there because I haven't played it yet this year. I feel he's playing the way he is playing. I'm not going to get to play that. I'm not going to play it much.
It's like I need some excuse. Gotta find an excuse.
All right, Minnesota at Philadelphia. Minnesota 0-1. Philadelphia 1-0. Started their quarterbacks. Justin Hurts, you're automatically playing him. Are you playing Kirk Cousins against this defense?
I would have played Mac Jones against them, but
yeah, there's nothing to say you can't play him. Everything from week one says you can. I still don't like Cousins.
Would you put in Cousins then, or would you put in Jordan Love against Atlanta?
No, probably Cousins.
Jordan Love, Kirk Cousins, or let's say, who do we have here? Baker against Chicago.
Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
I'm not playing Baker Mayfield in any sort of game.
No, Bears are crap. Really, really poor. Baker did get a few touchdowns last day.
Another question in there quickly. Would you all trade Zay Flowers for David Montgomery PPR with current wide receivers St. Brown, AJ Brown, Zay Jones, Dotson, Elijah Moore, current running backs Brees and Etienne? Yeah.
You could probably get a better running back for Zay Flowers, I think, could you? Like he had a good week one. He looked really good. Like
what kind of range are you aiming at though? Pacheco?
See, I wouldn't waste Zay Jones for Pacheco. That's the thing. Like, do you go and take the shot on Jamie's guy, on James Cook out of Buffalo? Decent game. Is he going to get better? Probably.
Could you ask for Miles Sanders for Zay Flowers? That's completely out of the question, I'd say, is it?
I think if I had Miles Sanders, I would definitely trade him for Zay Flowers because I hate Miles Sanders because he fucked me over 2 years running. But other people mightn't have a very skewed view of it the way I do.
I don't think you're going to get a lot of weeks out of Montgomery either. It depends how much the Lions decide to go to Gibbs. They didn't this week. They can ease them into it, but like eventually you would imagine that Gibbs is going to take over that backfield.
With those running backs, though, I do think it's a good idea to trade Zay Flowers and go and get another running back. Like he has Brees Hall and ETN, so he has strong running backs, but they're the only two. And like he has like AJ Brown, he has Zay Jones, Dotson, Elijah Moore, St. Brown. Then for the Lion, but do you want two Lions? Is the thing? Do you want like the receiver and the running back from the Lions?
That's a good question. Probably not. I think you could probably go find a better team that doesn't seem to be splitting the running back as much at the moment. Like you're only going to get a few weeks out of Montgomery, I think.
Yeah, like I think James Cook is probably a good bet for Zay Flowers. You could like if someone has him, you could probably get Cook and someone else off him for Zay Flowers if they're in need of wide receiver help. That'd be kind of my angle if I knew kind of what else was there. But I think James Cook is kind of the region I'd reach for, someone with a lot of upside who started the year well.
Do I trade CD for Ridley or no? Who's CD?
CD Lamb, bud.
CD Lamb. No, I don't trade CD Lamb for Ridley. I'd want to keep CD Lamb.
Yeah, I think CD has a higher ceiling this year. With the only thing I would say if you do go through with it is Trevor Lawrence seems to be like really comfortable throwing at the Ridley. He's definitely week 1 was the number 1 guy. There was nobody else was seeing the ball. Zay Jones saw it a little bit. Kirk had an awful week. ETN saw it a little bit, but Ridley was the driving force in the offense for him this week. So if that continues into next week, and look, you can see why you do it, but I personally wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't. No, that's I suppose that's jumping the gun a small bit. You know, like yeah, you could take the risk, but like Lamb is going to get those consistent points throughout the whole season. Ridley may not. You know.
I'll move back to the matchups. Kirk Cousins, we've discussed that. We're not in on playing Kirk this week unless you're kind of stuck. Mattison, running back, he's probably in your lineup if you don't really have much of an option there, do you, as you draft him?
Well, it depends. How early was Mattison going? 5th round? 4th round?
Yeah, I think it was a 5th, wasn't he?
Yeah, like unless you did 0 running back kind of strategy drafting, like he shouldn't be your number 1 guy. I wouldn't. If the way I draft, you see the way I do it every year. I hop on the running backs. There's very little good ones. So I would never be caught in this situation where I'd be sitting there saying Madison has to start for me. I didn't want to draft him coming into this year without Dalvin Cook in the team, and I didn't like him this week. I hope he gets better for people who definitely did draft him because his production last year was good, but I wouldn't be playing him this week if I had other options.
Just a quick question there. What tier do you put players like Garrett Wilson in now after the injury? He's dropped substantially to me now.
Say I drop out of the tier.
He's kind of more of a wide receiver 2 to me now at best. Like he could even be a flex option at times because like Zach Wilson's he's terrible. Like
basically, yeah. I think you're really taking a chance with Wilson now at this point. I think you're right. I think he's more of a flex. You're gone.
I'm not hitting the panic button straight away. I'm just not going to do it. We did this last year once or twice. We were completely wrong. So I'm sticking with Garrett Wilson for 1 more week with Zach Wilson there as a wide receiver 1. If you have him, play him at the 1, see how he gets on, take the risk, be ballsy, stay there.
You can't really Cowboys. You can't take risks because if you drafted him high enough that he's probably your first or second wide receiver anyway. So you're probably stuck with him for the week or 2 anyway.
Yeah, but you're always going to get someone who will trade for Garrett Wilson. Like, there's got to be someone within your league who give you good. I don't know, dude. Like, there's always be someone. There'll be some delusional Jets fan in your league somewhere that will take him.
Do you trade Garrett Wilson for Cooper Kupp?
Oof. No, not right now. No, I don't. I think maybe next week.
After another week of Zach Wilson smashing the value, though, and then you have Like the Dallas Cowboys defense. Oh, I don't want to play any of the Jets' weapons against that.
Yeah, but like, let me ask you this then. Like, the Cowboys defense was so good this week, and I preached on it before we got to the season that the defense looked so solid, and Dan Quinn is excellent, as we all know, with his time in Seattle as a D coordinator. But Wilson comes out, has 100 yards, touchdown, maybe even just has a 9 or 10 point week, but doesn't look too bad. Do you still then say, he got wide receiver 2 numbers, not 1 numbers? I'm a little bit out on him, but he just played and looked decent against probably one of the best defenses in the league. Are you still out on him then? Are you still saying, no, the tier, he's down, he's way down?
No, I'm not out on him, but like if he puts up those numbers against Dallas Cowboys defense, I'm back in. But I don't know if Zach Wilson can throw 100 yards total.
Well, he had to play the whole game against the Bills. So that, yes, I suppose it is. Yeah, yes, whatever. But like he had to play the whole game. They won. They looked really good. They looked strong. Like so, he was able to give him the ball against the Bills, who would be the top defense. Not good as the Cowboys, but I think you're right, Jane, in the way that let's not write him off yet. But I would drop him a small bit in my estimation. That's all.
Oh yeah, like I had Garrett Wilson coming in with the potential to be a tier 1 wide receiver this year with Rodgers there. I think his ability is undeniable, and I would just say without Rodgers, he goes from being one of those few tier 1 guys to a tier 2 guy at the minute for me. And we'll see over the next 2 weeks how they get on, but his value will be significantly dented in the next 2 weeks if he does not perform. So I see the panic to sell now, but I think if you're selling now, you're selling low anyway. So why not wait a week, see how he gets on, and if he has a good game, maybe don't take the risk on holding him for the year with Zach Wilson and say, well, look, he's still a tier 2 guy. I can get X, Y, and Z back for him. That'll be kind of my strategy now with Garrett Wilson.
Zach Wilson threw for 140 yards and 1 TD against Buffalo.
The GOAT.
You go. Let's move on because we're getting distracted by. We need to get into these matchups. We
have one more question, I think.
More question. Do I trade Mike Evans and Mixon for Kupp and Josh Jacobs? I have Kupp and Josh Jacobs on the majority of my teams, and I don't think I'd trade Kupp and Josh Jacobs for Mike Evans and Mixon.
No, I don't think so. I think you want Kupp and Jacobs, Joe. Like once Kupp comes back, like he's going to be Cooper Kupp. He's going to be class. I wouldn't be letting him go.
I'd agree. I would say get rid of Mike Evans and Mixon and take on Kupp and Jacobs. Just like, what did you get Mike Evans for this year? He was a 6th, 7th, 8th round kind of guy. You probably have receivers ahead of him anyway. So you're taking Kupp, stashing him on IR, and you still probably have 1 and 2 ahead of him. So you're just getting 10 times better.
It's probably a good idea too. While he did have the big game, and you're Baker Mayfield throwing the ball, like how often is that going to happen? Like,
ask the Browns, not a lot.
Back to Minnesota at Philadelphia. So Kenny Gainwell, are you flexing Kenny Gainwell this week? Then after the week last week?
Yeah, I would do. Jay, if my running back situation was the way some people seems to be, that went 0 running back strategy this year, and Paul got absolutely fleeced with Cooper Kupp and Travis Kelce week 1, I would say yes, flex Kenneth Gainwell. He seems like he's going to be a solid, reliable 8, 9, 10 point a week guy. If you need someone to just get you your points, Gainwell seems like he's going to be involved a lot in the Philly offense.
Would you play Gainwell or would you play David Montgomery against? Sorry, get you the Lions matchup there, Jamie. Seattle.
Oh, I'd probably go Montgomery. I think there's still enough of a 50-50 split there. Like, you still have that rotation the Eagles do. Like, you still don't really know. Like, that could very easily go back to Swift next week. I don't think it will, but it could.
How about against against Khalil Herbert, who's playing Tampa Bay there, Shane.
Who? Khalil Herbert?
Yeah.
I'd take Khalil Herbert probably over Gainwell. I thought Khalil Herbert looked really good week 1. But like Montgomery, I wouldn't touch Montgomery. Anyone who's like not good enough for the Bears team that were awful at running the ball last year, I would not be touching them.
The wide receivers in this game are a bit more straightforward. Like you're going to play AJ Brown, Justin Jefferson, so we don't need to talk about that. Devonta Smith is going into your lineup if you've drafted him. Addison, he's probably a bit more interesting. He had the touchdown last week. He had a decent game. Would you play him against the Eagles?
Flex him, man. Flex him.
Yeah.
Yep.
Would you play Terry McLaurin against Denver or Addison against the Eagles?
Oh, Addison.
Addison.
Yeah, I don't get that whole boring thing. Like it was just one good game.
They were great movies too.
Hollywood Brown against the Giants or Addison?
He's still playing for the Cardinals, is he?
Yeah.
Didn't even notice he was on the field, man. It's like...
Yeah, they don't have an offense, like so.
Yeah, we're not all Cardinals fans. Like I specifically did not watch that game. I saw like the Cardinals defense play for like 10 minutes and we're like, wow, they aren't completely ass.
How about say Adam Thielen against the Saints or Jordan Addison?
I go Jordan Addison against the Eagles. I think if a lackluster offense like the Patriots could do really well against them. Now I know that the rain was torrential and the weather obviously came into it. I would still say that Addison with Kirk in the Minnesota offense under Kevin O'Connell is going to do a better job than what any weather could upset the defense. So I will play him over Thielen. I think Thielen's going to need a couple of games with Bryce Young before he's in anyone's lineup. So I still think Thielen will have a good year. Just not yet. Bryce Young needs to settle. Bryce Young, whichever way you want to say it.
I'd say we're out on Thielen, really, aren't we? We're not playing any of those lads. The tight ends then Hawkinson and Goddard. You're probably starting them both, but Goddard gave you the zip last week, but you're probably going straight back.
Yeah, I think so.
That was easy to close off those ones. Green Bay at Atlanta. The morning slate on Sunday. Are you playing Jordan Love then, Jamie?
No.
Oh my god!
Not yet. No, not yet. Like the Bears are very poor. The Bears are awful. They're a really bad team. Like Atlanta will be a bit better and be a bit more of a challenge. I don't know, are they, to be honest. But no, I don't think now. I think he's one to keep an eye on. I do. He looked quite good last hit, but I don't think it's starting now.
Aaron Jones is still being evaluated after the injury, so we don't have much of an update there. If Aaron Jones sits, are you throwing AJ Dillon straight into every lineup?
Yeah, he's probably one of the best backup running backs in the league. Like the dude is I think when he goes to finally be a starter somewhere, people are really going to see his talent. I think he's one of them guys playing behind one of the best running backs in the league. He doesn't get enough third down stuff. He doesn't get enough drives by himself for long enough periods. I think they throw him in when they can't throw the ball and they expect him to make yardage and they stack the box. I think it's very unfair the rap Dillon gets. I would definitely play
Dillon takes a lot of goal line carries. Like he takes a lot of it because he's that power back. But he just seems to be regressing. He just doesn't seem to be the player he was the first day. Like if Jones isn't there, yeah, you smash him in because the Packers are going to run the ball this year. Like that's what they're going to do. You know, like they're not going to be on Love every single game, but I don't know. I'm a bit out in Dillon now this year, to be honest.
Quick question. Trade Justin Fields for Dalvin Cook, George Kittle, and Derek Carr.
This is where you play your song, dude.
Yeah, you can play the song now. Go for it.
Yeah, you could actually.
The Justin Fields theme music.
Yeah. We don't trade Justin Fields on this show. We push it to the limit.
No, I'd push him. I'd take him.
That's a lot to get for a quarterback, though, isn't it? Like Dalvin Cook, Kittle, and Derek Carr. I could even just cut Derek Carr and get a different quarterback.
Yeah. Jordan Love is available in most fantasy.
Like, take Derek Carr out of it. Like, it's Justin Fields for Dalvin Cook and George Kittle.
I'd take it, Joe. Fields looked horrific. He looked really bad.
Yeah, but it's the promise that Fields could get you 45 points. And I also like that he follows it up with saying he loves Fields. I love Fields too. He has his own theme music.
I don't think he's that guy. I just don't think he's that guy anymore.
Yeah, I think for what you're getting in return for Justin Fields, I could see I would probably make the trade last year if it was Dalvin Cook. It's just Bryce Hall seemed to be kind of the guy, didn't he? Like he just seemed like
different level.
Yeah, so like my issue then is if you're like he says he's mainly getting Cook to trade him. So like what kind of value do you guys have on Cook? Because like I certainly wouldn't be giving up a whole pile to go get a guy who's getting a 40% or 50% snap share beside Breece Hall, who's like the two of them obviously are injury prone. You could end up with a bell cow, but like I don't know how much you're going to get in return. Like if you're just trading Fields to get Cook to trade, you're ending up with Kittle and Carr. Then you're downgrading significantly a quarterback. You're getting an aging tight end in an offense with a ton of weapons, who's not going to be consistent week in, week out anymore. I don't think with Kittle and Cook. How much are you really getting in value to trade? Like what kind of a value? Who would you give up for Cook? Like what are you looking at? Like
I wouldn't take him, but people will take him because of the name. You know, he is still a tradable asset because of his name.
So a bit more background on this trade. It's a super flex, so 2 quarterback. I'm not trading Fields, even if I have Mahomes in a super flex.
Oh yeah, maybe not.
No, God, no. Super flex league. I'm not getting rid of Fields with Mahomes. That's a killer combination. That could be a league winning combination if Fields hits the ground running again.
There's another trade question with Fields in it here. Trade Fields, Lamb, and Taylor for Hurts, Amon-Ra, and Brian Robinson.
Oof.
You're like, Hurts is better than Fields anyway because he's going to be more consistent. Lamb and Amon-Ra, like
I think Amon-Ra has the edge, man. I think he's going to be wide receiver top 5 material this year.
Brian Robinson's actually playing football is the thing over Taylor.
Yeah, that is the other thing for at least 3 more weeks. Taylor seems like he's going to come back, but like Taylor last year was so unreliable. Like, do you just take the shot, get the 2 better players and sacrifice Taylor? You know, just say like, look, I'm not going to see you anyway till week 5. Just forget I even drafted you. I think that's the route I would go. I think I would take the trade. I would take Hurts and Amon-Ra and Brian Robinson. I can't believe I would take Brian Robinson. I would never take him.
I think your upside of Hurts and Amon-Ra does balance it out that little bit. Because as I say, Taylor won't be there for the 4 weeks. And we don't know what's going to happen with Taylor. You expect him to come back and be John Taylor, but is he really going to be like, especially when all the shit in the Colts at the moment? Like, they're very poor.
Like, if you play the game, like trying to look for wild cards, and like if Taylor comes back, you probably win your league.
Oh, go to the next one.
Like,
what were you doing? It's like, why draft Commanders running backs? I don't understand people and logic.
The issue he has here, though, is if he has Gibson, and like Gibson was basically nothing in week 1, so he has Taylor and Gibson as running backs. There's no points coming from either of them.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Look. Yeah. I would say. Look. Just. I think Hurts and Amon-Ra are too good to pass up. That'll be my look at it. I love CD. I like Justin Fields, but the Hurts is Justin Fields 17.0. He's way better. And Amon-Ra, I think, is top 5 this year, easy, as long as he stays healthy. Brian Robinson is top 50 somewhere, maybe, eventually.
He's not very usable. I don't like. Are you really ever
You
going
can
to
flex,
start Brian
bro.
Robinson?
You could flex him, I suppose. You probably could get away with flexing. Like we're talking about in the last game, flexing Gamewell. Like I'd flex Brian Robinson over Gamewell.
Jamie doesn't sound too happy about this.
Like, you know, it's tomato, right? And just two sides of a shit pie. Yeah.
Bijan Robinson, you're playing him straight away. Aaron Jones, we talked about if he's playing, you're playing him. But then Tyler Algier, is he going straight into a flex spot for you?
Yeah. I think if you're good, I think you can play both boys every week now because they have absolutely nothing else. Tyler Algier.
Yeah. I'd probably shoot with Algier as well this week. I think that Atlanta run game looks solid.
Tyler Algier or say Mostert against New England?
I'd probably shoot with Mostert just for the upside of the Dolphins offense.
No, I'll go Algier. I think the Dolphins running backs is a worse situation. Fantasy wise, not.
Just coming back to AJ and A&J films here. His team is Mahomes, Fields, Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, Ridley, Ayuk, Higbee, Amari Cooper. He's just asking. He's saying is like basically you get Kittle in for Higbee there, but he's just asking. We wouldn't trade Justin Fields for Dalvin Cook and George Kittle. I wouldn't trade. I wouldn't trade. This is the super flex league,
much
remember?
Of an upgrade? I get it. Yeah, but how much of an upgrade is Kittle going to be? Like, it's not worth it to me to upgrade a tight end to get rid of a super flex quarterback. You know, that doesn't make sense to me to do that. I wouldn't do it. Personal preference, I would keep the better quarterback and just jump on the tight end carousel, as we like to say here. That's the way I play that.
Yeah. I agree.
Moving back to the tight ends then in the Green Bay Atlanta game. Kyle Pitts, no thank you. This Musgrave lad, Jamie, what's the word?
One to keep an eye on. Looked decent. Probably should have got a long touchdown the last day, which would have probably put him up near the top of tight ends. Looks decent, looks skillful, but you're not playing him yet. You know, I think you were watching a lot of those Packers players to see how good they actually are.
And then Christian Watson and Dubes.
Yeah, Dubes looked really good last day. Dobbs, whatever. If Watson's back, like put Watson in your team anyway. He's out and out the wide receiver one there. Jalen Reed looked quite good too, to be fair to him, but again, you're not starting those players.
Would you play Dobbs or would you play Jacoby Myers if he's fit against Buffalo?
Oh, Myers.
Miles
or DK
there, boys. I'll be back, right?
No water. We'll plow on, Jamie. We'll move on to the next.
We'll plow on.
Las Vegas at Buffalo. So Jimmy Garoppolo, that's a no. But Josh Allen straight into your team. Josh Jacobs is a starter. We don't need to talk about that. James Cook, were you happy with your week one?
He did okay. You've read like it's a Bills running back. They can tank very, very, very easily, but he's 100% the only running back in that team. So play him. I'm going to constantly play him. I don't think there's any issue there.
Are you going to go Pacheco for the Chiefs against Jacksonville, or are you going to go James Cook?
James Cook. I think James Cook's the better running back.
Herbert against Tampa Bay or James Cook?
James Cook. I'm all in James Cook this year. I think he's gonna have a great year. I really do. I was strong enough from the last year. I'm going to be strong for the rest of the year too.
And then we look at the wide receiver position in this game. Devontae Adams, Stephon Diggs, their starters. Jacoby Myers. I'd keep an eye on the injury. I don't think he's going to play this weekend, to be honest.
No, I wouldn't say so.
Gabe Davis. I'm not playing Gabe Davis. So keep him on the bench just to see for another couple of weeks. But I wouldn't be too interested in it.
Yeah, no, there really is only Diggs there on the Buffalo side. Myers will be a good player. If you can get him off your waivers, just bench him for a while. He'll be a playable asset.
Then the rookie tight ends for these two teams, you're probably going to play Dalton Kincaid for where you drafted him, but it's not. I wasn't too excited about week 1 with him. Were you?
No, but he looks like he's got the talent. And look, it's your Titan carousel again. I think if you have Kincaid, I don't think you have any problem starting him every week.
We've moved on here to Baltimore at Cincinnati. Then Lamar Jackson, not Justin Burrows. Burrows. They both had stinkers below 5 points this week. You're probably getting straight back on the horse with the two of them because they were drafted and chopped 4 rounds.
Yep.
100%, yep.
The Baltimore running back situation, then I think you have to wait for your waivers to go through. But are you going straight in with Hill if you get Hill? Are you going straight in with Gus if you get Gus?
Yeah, I think I am. I think it will flex. I'm hoping, if you're the Dobbins owner, you're obviously starting him. You're probably going like for like there. But anyone else who's jumping on that saying, I'm going to get a starting running back here for a season because Dobbins is out, I'd be jumping on Edwards. I think it's going to be a 50-50 share for a week or two, but I think Edwards is going to win that job easily, boys. I know the 2 year against me here, but Edwards is the guy I'd be putting my money on.
If you get one of these guys, Jamie, say either or, say you have you're running the risk either way, but say it is what you think it is and it's Justice Hill. Would you play Justice Hill over, say, Joshua Kelly or Tyler Algier if you had either of those? Kelly has a tight.
I don't think so. I think your Ravens backfield like that is not something you really want to go towards if you can avoid it. I think that one of them will probably take over and one of them will eventually be a flexible option. But there's way better talent out there at the moment. Like Josh Kelly there, 100%. I'd take him over the two of them all day.
And then the wide receivers in this game, just Jamar Chase, he's going straight back in. T. Higgins, you're going straight back to well. Zay Flowers is probably the question mark. Zay Flowers with a great week 1. Like his stat line was brilliant. He had 10 targets, 9 receptions, 78 yards on his debut. Are you going Zay Flowers over players like, I don't know, you might even look at him over someone like DK Metcalf if Geno Smith sits, would you?
I wouldn't say so.
If Geno's out, yeah. Well, the other side of that is DK might be the only receiver on the field for the Seahawks, so could end up having a monster week as well. But Zay Flowers for me will be into my lineup over most other guys. I thought he was outstanding. Short yardage, even when he was catching the ball, might have caught a 10-yard pass, but he turned it into a 20-30 yard reception. He was hard to catch. Dude was trying to catch wind at times.
I have a nasty one for you. I know Jamie has this decision to make. Would you play Zay Flowers? Would you play Zay Flowers against who are they playing against? Sorry, against Cincinnati.
The Bengals.
Or would you play Michael Pittman? Well, that's not your choice, is it?
No.
Nope. I thought you were going to say Mike. I thought you were going to say Mike Williams.
No, DJ Moore against Tampa Bay. So Flowers or DJ Moore?
Yeah, you see, I haven't made that choice yet, so that's unfair. But yeah, I would be kind of closer to Flowers at this rate. But I think you're gotta watch out for Andrews being back, because if Andrews back, I think With Andrews back, Flowers isn't going to get as much targets. So what is he going to do with Andrews on the pitch? That's the real question.
I'd still jump on Zay Flowers. I don't think after that week 1 performance, they're going to say we're going to take targets away from him. I think it's going to be how do we tell Odell we're not throwing him the ball this week? It's going to be like Mark is back. Someone tell Odell he's not getting the ball.
So we finally in on the Ravens wide receiver, so are we?
Yeah, dude, I'm in. I'm 100% suited and booted for Zay Flowers, man.
All in. Only took 2 years.
Baltimore Ravens tight end Mark Andrews, who missed week 1, appears to be doing better this week. Mark looks good. So keep an eye on Mark Andrews that you play him.
This is also like the game of the week for kicker fans. Shooter versus the GOAT. It's like, what are we doing here, guys? What we got? Who's going to come out on top?
No, that needs like a sexual healing kind of.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's got to be like.
When I get that feeling, I need sexual kickers.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm in. It's okay, Dan. We can move on. It's okay.
Seattle at Detroit. So, Geno Smith, what's the update? Do we have any update? Is he fit? What's going on here? I can't see anything about the injury here on the first thing.
It doesn't seem to have updated or said anything about it. So hopefully Geno is healthy and there will not be anything wrong with him.
But would you play Geno over Jared Goff? That's the main question.
Probably not. I think as much as we give Jared Goff a hard time here, and we have done a lot last season, it's that Detroit offense, like, just roll with it and see what happens. Goff is probably not going to score you 30 points a week. Like, he's probably not even going to get you the 20, but he should be in and around the 20. That offense just looks so good. The other side of it is Geno is magic, apparently. Just.
But you hardly need Jared Goff at this point of your fantasy league. Like, if you need him week 2, you're in massive trouble.
Yeah, you probably could have been a guy who drafted Aaron Rodgers.
Quick question there. Drop Zach Charbonnet for Zay Flowers. I would drop Charbonnet for Zay Flowers.
Yes.
100%.
What Zay Flowers doing on waivers is the main question.
Yeah, that is insane. And there must be like an 8-man league or something there. Like, for a second thought that said Eli Manning. It was like, dude doesn't even play, man.
Yeah, you can drop. Like, I'd probably drop Mitchell before I drop Charbonnet. Jeez, I'm really struggling with that word.
Yeah, I'd agree.
So, say we're back to these quarterbacks, Geno and Jared Goff. Would you play Anthony Richardson over the two of them? Anthony Richardson has the knee bruise.
Yeah, if Anthony Richardson is good to go this week, I'd probably play him. I like what I saw from him this week. I think he's going to only get better. First game in the NFL, he was always going to be a little bit nervous. They were always going to hold him back just a little bit. I think he's going to get on his bike a little bit more. He seems to have a really good arm. It's just about getting Pittman more involved. I think Pittman looked good when they got the ball to Pittman. He's going to have a good few 100-yard games this season, I think.
The running backs in the Seattle-Detroit game, then Kenny Walker, Jamar Gibbs straight away. Yes, they're in. David Montgomery is, suppose, he's a solid flex option, really. Like,
yeah, I think he is. He took a lot of targets off Gibbs last week, and I think he's probably going to take a few less this week as they get Gibbs back into the offense. But I think over the next 2 to 3 weeks is your time to play Montgomery if you want him, or like your man did, trade him away, or he's trading for him. Trade him away if you have him. If you can. Sorry.
I think Montgomery, for as much as he had a lot to do with the offense this week, I think You will see that as the weeks go on, slowly step down, and Gibbs is given more of a lead role. They just don't want to overload Gibbs again. It's this whole running back by committee thing. He's a young, inexperienced running back. They didn't give him the full workload, give him 40% count. That'll slowly rise as the season goes on. They try or go to get Gibbs madly involved. I think Montgomery will be phased out before the end of the season. He'll still have a small role, but he's not going to have this kind of a role. I think sell high on Montgomery. I wouldn't be playing him.
I would trade Lamar, Ayuk, and Charbonnet for Patty. Is Patty Mahomes? Is that who we're going for
Superflex,
here?
I take it.
Yeah, it'd have to be Superflex, but I'm not trading Lamar, Ayuk, and Charbonnet for.
No, I don't want to get. Why would you get rid of Ayuk now? Ayuk looks like he's going to have an unbelievable year.
You're panicking with Lamar there as well if you're selling him. Like, it's not going to be that bad every week.
Yeah, like the Bengals were asked this week, man. if he absolutely plays terrible against them, I might panic then. That I could slightly panic then, because if the Bengals aren't going to be that bad, but I can't see them like improving to be like Super Bowl contenders within a week of being that bad. So I think Lamar has a good week this week.
The wide receivers in the Seattle and Detroit game, Amon-Ra, DK, they're probably going to start them straight away. I suppose there is worry of Geno doesn't play for the receivers, but at the same time, you could probably play Metcalf either way. Like,
yeah, I'd see no problem with starting any of those guys. I think Reynolds as well, guys. Reynolds looked good week one, didn't he?
Yeah, he did look pretty good. All right, it's just whether you want to roll that dice. You know, it's if you lose, it's a hard pill to take if you play Josh Reynolds.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. But like, I still think I'd roll the dice just for the Detroit offense, man. They look so good. Like, for a team that was terrible 2 years ago, even last year, but the offense looked fantastic last year. Now it seems like they're putting it together on both sides of the ball, and like, to me, Detroit are a bit of a dark horse this year, aren't they? They showed up the other night. They looked really good. I think Reynolds could be a sneaky little flex option to throw in there against the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Drop Eli Mitchell for Kenny Gainwell. Yeah, I drop Eli Mitchell for Kenny Gainwell. Sam Laporta then for Detroit. You're just going to keep him on your bench, or you're going to start playing him?
I think you can play him. He looks hard. Like, the offense is good enough to get them involved.
Sam Laporta or Dalton Kincaid?
I think Laporta for now,
Laporta,
yeah. The one thing Josh Allen has shown us over his career is Josh Allen isn't a big tight end guy. Jared Goff is a very big tight end guy. Jared Goff likes throwing to the tight end. Josh Allen is more just run and like heave it down the field to like a guy who's wide open.
Yeah. Plus, the Lions don't have as many targets as the Bills will. You know, like, I think they're more likely to go to the tight end on the Lions side.
Yeah, that's fair.
Indianapolis at Houston. This game doesn't have a whole lot of options. The rookie quarterbacks, Richardson is the only option there. You're not playing CJ Stroud because he looked terrible.
You could definitely play Richardson here. You could definitely stream him. Like, definitely in this matchup. He looked alright.
Yeah, I'd say he's almost he could easily be a top 5 option this week.
There's like four guys in this game that you're really talking about. Isn't it? Like Dameon Pierce, if you have him, you're obviously playing him. Zach Moss, I think, coming back. He was a little bit hurt last week. He's definitely getting the majority of the carries this week. I think Zach Moss is a good target.
Fumbled everything.
Yeah. Pittman.
He unworked himself into the team by the other lads being so bad.
Yeah, Pittman's the only really option, the receiver position. Dameon Pierce at the running back. Like, I don't even know if I'm playing Zach Moss. I might leave him on the bench for a week and just see.
Well, like, would you rather Zach Moss over like Gus Edwards or Justice Hill coming in this week?
If I get one of those Ravens, I'd probably play them over Zach Moss. don't know if I could trust any of the Colts running backs.
You're hardly that desperate this early in the year.
Oh, I'm not. No, I just thought it was
not you. I just mean in general. Like if you're choosing between Zach Moss and the Ravens running backs at this point, just stop.
Just give up for the season.
It's just not happening for you, lads.
I've seen a lot of things on Twitter, man, of people going 0 running back in their draft early on, and like guys like Dobbins were starters for him, and like they don't have anyone. Like they were drafting a running back their first overall running back in like the 5th round. Like so, those guys are like extremely hurting for running backs.
Yeah.
Would you drop Tank Bigsby for Nakua? I don't think I'm moving on from Bigsby this quickly.
No.
Like he looked okay in week 1. He had a fumble, but ETN has made a glass.
It depends what you need, running backs are notoriously tough to get, so I wouldn't drop them unless you did have another 2 or 3 running backs even on your bench.
Who would you target if you're trying to trade Cooper Kupp?
John Taylor.
Go talk to the Olave owner. Probably the best option for you.
Go talk to the who owner then?
The Olave owner.
Oof. Yeah, I would actually not trade Olave for Cooper Kupp. I think Michael Thomas had a strong showing. Garrett Wilson now is one. Yeah, I think if that's a definite trade, I think Garrett Wilson owner would be happy to get rid of him and not have to worry about the decline and take the risk on Cooper Kupp coming back and being fully healthy. Because this hamstring thing would be a big issue.
Like, are we really that low on Cooper Kupp?
Well, dude, like the hamstring thing seemed to come out of nowhere all of a shot. And then it was like, right now it needs to be scanned. Now it seems to be a bigger issue with the hamstring. Like if he comes back and after 2 weeks he's out again because the hamstring thing didn't heal properly, or he needs surgery on it, or they were just trying to rest him to see how good it is, and then ends up getting a week and doing nothing for the rest of the year. Like nobody seems to be able to tell me exactly how serious this Cooper Kupp thing is. Like it went from being a slight knock on the hamstring, he might miss week 1 to we have to put him on IR and he's going to miss 4 weeks of the season. Like, is he going to come back after 4 weeks? We're just saying he's back after 4 weeks because that's the minimum. But like, is there a realistic chance of him being back after 4 weeks if it's as bad as what they say?
True. Fair point.
We need to move on because we're still on the early slate.
Okay. Let's just quick rounding.
Kansas City at Jacksonville. This is a nightmare for fantasy owners purely because like Mahomes and Lawrence, they're both in. Like you're not going to have options that you're going to want to play above them. Oh, like Pacheco and ETN. Yeah, I'm happy enough to play either of those. But like, say you had Pacheco or someone like James Conner against the Giants. Who are you playing?
Probably Pacheco.
Yeah, I'm just not playing Cardinals.
No, not really.
Pacheco or Dalvin Cook against the Cowboys.
Still, I'd probably go Pacheco. That Cowboys defense just looked too good to play a guy who's going to get 50% of the ball. Maybe not even 50%.
I need to find a line here. Pacheco or Jamal Williams against Carolina.
Jamal Williams did not look good week 1 of that Saints offense, but he will be better. There's no way he regresses that much in a season after having the year he had last year.
But I'd stick with Pacheco at this point.
Fair.
Okay, so Travis Etienne, we're all right on. No one's really looking at Jared McKinnon unless you're in a very deep league, I'd say. The Kansas City wide receivers. I will tell you which ones not to play. Kadarius Toney, Sky Moore, MVS, James, and Watson. I might play Rice in a very dire situation.
Yeah, you're not playing any of them. Just don't. I would. You're right. I have Rice, but I'd pick him up if he's on the waivers and just stash him because he looks like the only lad who can actually pick a ball. But you're not going to trust him at this point.
Depending on
Calvin
who
Ridley
my.
straight
Oh yeah, Calvin Ridley straight in.
Mm-hmm.
And then are you gonna roll the dice with Christian Kirk after a bad week one where he's in the slot, and then when they went to 2 wide receiver sets, he just didn't play. Zay Jones played.
Yes, that's what worries me with Kirk. I thought when they went to the 2 wide receiver sets, we would have seen Kirk Ridley. The fact they stuck with Zay Jones, I'm kind of out on Kirk at the minute, man. I think if you drafted him, maybe try move him, or like he's a low end or mid table flex option for me at the minute. Like, I know it was only 1 week, and we said not to panic about other people earlier, but when you see the 2 wide receiver sets at no Christian Kirk, that's a big worry.
If you could get him cheap, would you trade for him? I think you could nearly trade for Kirk and
If you
stash
get
him.
who?
Like trade Kirk or trade for Kirk, for someone. Like,
oh yeah, like I would take the risk if you're in need of receiver help. I would take, because you should be able to buy low enough. I take the shot on Kirk, but I wouldn't be giving away any major pieces to go get him.
no, but surely he's only going to get. But we can't get worse. But like surely he's going to because himself and Lawrence seemed to have a good rapport last year. So surely.
Yeah, but Calvin Ridley was there last year, man. And Ridley, I said it earlier in the show, like Ridley was the driving force of that offense this week. Like the man looked like he had missed a beat with the season off. So
that's fair.
I don't know. It's hard to tell. But I would be worried if I was Christian Kirk owner.
We have another question in there. Help me. I'm in hell. 2 running back dynasty. I have Bijan and nothing behind him. Akers, Dylan, James Cook, Joshua Kelly, Pacheco, Najee.
You got James Cook. James Cook looks sorry. That's not James Cook.
He's
the out and out running back one. It's out and out running back one for the Bills. Yeah, I know the Bills don't use the running backs as much, but he's still the only man in that backfield. He's surely it's not like Singletary before when he had like Moss and they were both shite and they were both taking targets off each other. I think Cook is going to come good. I'm very high in Cook this year. I just think he's one to come good.
I agree. I do agree with you. I think James Cook is very high ceiling, but I think for what she's looking for at the minute is not to have so many mid guys there. Like Akers is ass. Dylan is an RB2, a glorified goal line man. Joshua Kelly is Eckler's backup. Pacheco is Pacheco, and Najee Harris is a train wreck of a human being who should not be in anyone's team.
That's what you would do there. If say someone like the Saquon owner is rebuilding his team or his team is a mess, put James Cook and Najee Harris in a trade deal and send it to the Saquon owner and see does he bite.
Yeah. I think if you were able to team Pacheco and Cooks together, like somebody's going to take them because the two of them they're the out now RB1s, so someone's going to take a chance on the two of them because they have a lot of upside.
There you go. The Saquon owner is rebuilding, so see if you can buy Saquon cheap.
Yeah, that is the definite route to go. And Saquon just had a terrible week. You know, like you're offering in James Cook, high upside. Pacheco or Najee, like the two of them are year 2 guys, should be easily picked up. I wouldn't give up much picks or really any picks with them for that. Maybe a second or a third round, maybe.
Elijah Moore and Najee for Saquon. Yeah, I'd take Saquon over those two. So yeah,
if you get that, well done. Yeah. If you get that, fair play.
Yeah, that is.
You might have been over the barrel there.
Sorry, which game are we on? So yeah, we've talked about the Jacksonville wide receiver situation. Evan Ingram and Travis Kelce. We're just going to play the two of them. We need to at tight end.
Yeah.
Chicago at Tampa Bay. Justin Fields, you have to play him. There's no debate. But Baker Mayfield, would you look towards Baker if you were in the Jared Goff, Geno Smith kind of tier?
No.
Nope.
Yeah,
Take both those guys over.
But I do think if you were stuck, he probably is streamable because the Bears are just useless. I thought if there's any week you really want to play Baker Mayfield, now's the time.
Am I crazy for flexing Dobbs over Drake London and Pacheco in a half PPR? No, you are not.
No. I would say that is an intelligent, informed decision.
I'm not playing Drake London for the rest of the season. I'm trying to trade him. You're like, they're not going to throw the ball. Like, forget about it.
Well, they might throw it just to the running backs. Like kind of sideways. Nothing's go down the field.
Why are you trying to throw it forward? Stop it.
They're playing rugby, these quarterbacks. They don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
I might play Pacheco over Dobbs, though.
No, I'd say I'd stick with Dobbs, man, after the week he had this week.
I think it depends on Watson's back. If Watson's back, Dobbs is obviously going to get less targets, and he'll just rest back to his wide receiver 2. And I don't think the Packers are good enough to have 2 wide receivers.
Chicago at Tampa Bay, back to this again. Herbert, he's kind of a flex play. He's kind of just, if you need someone to put in the flex, you'd go for it. But like, say you can play him or Joshua Kelly for the Chargers against Tennessee. What are you going to do there?
I would play Herbert.
Jamie?
What was the choice? I missed the second one.
Herbert or Joshua Kelly for the Chargers against Tennessee?
Oh, probably with Kelly.
Rashard White absolutely sucked week 1.
Thank God you stole him from me.
Well, I didn't steal him. I just informed people to make decisions to steal him from you.
Yeah, because of mock drafts we done on this show, you traitorous bastard.
17 attempts for 39 yards.
That's as bad as Cam Akers. Like, that's not good.
Sam Tucker could end up taking his job, or Sean Tucker even. Sorry, so maybe keep an eye on Sean Tucker.
I think this is the matchup now to see how good he is, because he should absolutely dominate that match. He should run straight through the Bears. If he doesn't run through him this week, panic.
I don't think he's gonna. I think we all had rose-tinted glasses looking at Rashad White, thinking like he looked a good player at the end of last year. He was struggling in a bad team, and then we just forgot that the Buccaneers' offensive line is absolutely terrible. So it's like we expected more out of him, and we're not going to get it. And I don't think they could have fucking Eric Dickerson back there, and I don't think he's going to do very much because that O-line is awful.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, it's a difficult one to decide what to do there. Definitely put Tucker on the back of your bench if you have a spot, though, just in case. See what happens there. Mike Evans. I think you can play Mike Evans.
Yep.
Yeah.
Would you go Mike Evans or say Mike Williams against Tennessee if Mike Williams is fit? Mike Williams might not be fit, though.
I'd take Evans.
Yeah, I go Evans, yeah. Evans looks quite good in a really poor offense.
Evans or Garrett Wilson against Dallas?
I'd probably again go Evans just because he's matched up against the Bears.
Yep.
Evans or Terry McLaurin against Denver?
Evans again. Denver didn't look completely terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Sean Payton is insane. Onside kicks to start games. I so miss Sean Payton.
Evans or DJ Moore in the same match?
Evans, because DJ Moore is not the number 1 receiver there.
Mm-hmm.
So are we benching DJ Moore?
No.
Yeah, definitely. I would bench DJ Moore. I think Darnell Mooney was the absolute guaranteed wide receiver 1 there now. I think after one game, I have enough seen.
No, I think that's a panic trap. Like, I think the Packers' defense are really good. It's the only thing the Packers have. They're very good defensively, and they really showed up the last day. I think you have to give more, at least one more week. If he sucks here, then yeah, I'm 100% with you. If Mooney gets all the snaps here, then more owners are in big trouble.
And Mooney owners, you hit the jackpot because you didn't draft them till about the 10th round.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not going. We're not going to go in with the Chicago wide receivers, is what we're saying here.
I would play Darnell Mooney. 100%. I would play Darnell Mooney. I would flex him. I wouldn't be dependent on him for wide receiver 1 or 2, but I would flex Mooney.
I'm going to play DJ Moore because I drafted him high enough. He just kind of, you have to stick with him.
I have to. Because I don't have anyone else.
Well, I have Zay Flowers, but like Moore is good enough. I think he was drafted high enough in that team to be the wide receiver 1. So I just think it was a blip. Like if he sucks here, yeah, then you're in trouble. But I think he'd be all right this week.
And then the tight end position, we're looking at Cole Kmet really in this game.
No.
Not even.
What did he get last week? Cole Kmet had 7 targets, 5 receptions. 6.9 wasn't the worst tight end position play of the week.
No, I don't like Cole Kmet. I think again he's one of those guys, isn't he? He's like either goose egg or 7 points. It's like I'd rather take the consistent Will Disley who gets 4 points a week.
He's still in the league? Is Will Disley?
Yeah, man. He played for the Seahawks at the weekend and caught like a few balls and got like 3 or 4 points. It's like consistency at the tight end position.
Sorry, Jesus.
Okay, let's move on to the next matchup. The Chargers at Tennessee. This one's probably a bit more of an interesting matchup. Like Herbert, we're straight in on Herbert. Tannehill, we're obviously not playing Tannehill, so we don't need to worry about that.
Mm-hmm.
So, like the running backs for the Chargers, Eckler is in, but Kelly could be a flex.
Yeah, Kelly's interesting. I think if you were a Dobbins owner and you miss out and Kelly's still there, you miss out on one of the other 2 Ravens coming in. Kelly is a great option to have to flex.
Yeah. They seem to like using the 2 of them last week.
I wouldn't feel great about flexing them though. I'd be worried. Oh wait, it'll kick off.
I'd shit the pants. Yeah, no, I wouldn't. But yeah, you could.
Would you play Kelly or would you play Rashad White against Chicago?
110% Kelly.
I'd like to say Kelly, but I know I'd play White.
Would you go with someone like Kelly or even like you wouldn't play you wouldn't play Zach Moss over Kelly, would you?
That's an interesting one. I nearly would.
Yeah, I probably would too. Yeah.
That's desperation.
Okay, we can move on from Kelly then. Derrick Henry, obviously. Tajay Spears had more stats though.
Just easing them in. Just resting the king, man. Just that's all it is. They were just breaking them in gently.
DeAndre Hopkins was not very impressed with his first game in Tennessee with Tannehill's just terrible passing, but you're probably going to play him in most situations. Like you drafted him as your wide receiver 2.
Yeah, I did, and he got 10 points on my bench, and he will be getting starting reps this week. We're going to double down on the Henry Hopkins connection.
Yeah, he's
so
definitely
Zay Flowers or DeAndre Hopkins.
Hopkins.
Zay Flowers or Hopkins?
Yeah, Zay Flowers says Cincinnati.
No, I go Hopkins.
Hopkins it is. Burks can just go die. I won't play him.
It's a bit harsh.
He's a flop. Like he's just a flop. He's not going to be anything. So you may just forget about ever using him. I drop him, to be honest. Like I have no interest in him.
I think he upset you from last year, Dad. Did he?
I haven't had him anywhere. Like I have no reason not to want him. But like, no, I'm not playing him.
Loss of limb will not excuse you.
Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. I should have used that loss of limb thing for Mike Williams because Jesus.
Yeah. Who would draft Mike Williams?
for the third year in a row.
At least I don't have the two of them this time.
I don't think I've ever seen him not on Jamie's roster. Like he could just.
Dude, it's nuts. And it's not like he keeps them at a year or like he just scraps them every year.
I had the two of them every year. Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. Two of them all the time. Yeah, you talked me into drafting Mike Williams this year. So it's all your fault.
I did do but like where you were taking him this year in the draft, though, you needed a wide receiver that round. You had just gone running back. You had two running backs at that stage already. You needed a bit more depth of wide receiver, and the tier drop off from the run that went on receivers. Williams was the only choice to make there, like, and it didn't work out too bad for you. You could drop him and play Zay Flowers if you want.
No, I don't. Look, I know we're taking the piss, but like he's not that bad. Like he was missing for half the game, and he still had a decent output. You know, I think it was 7 or 8 points. So he's obviously a target Herbert's going to look at. If he's playing the whole game, he could have got a touchdown. Different story altogether. I think you're still playing Allen and Williams here every week. No problem.
And then the hot pickup, Gerald Everett at the tight end position. Or Parham, whichever one you prefer.
Parham looked good. Parham did look good. But for fantasy wise, I don't think you go anywhere near those tight ends.
Fair enough. And then on the other side of the ball, then Chig. Are you looking at Chig, or is the goose from last week enough to make you cut him?
Oh, yeah, no.
Tight ends, man. It's just like, look, just get Will Disley. You'll be fine.
I honestly don't think outside Hopkins you can play any receivers. Like Tannehill is just that bad. Like,
yeah, dude. Yeah, Hopkins is going to get his targets. That's it. Like, they did not pay him that money to throw the ball to anyone else. Like, he is going to be in triple coverage, and they're just going to be like the Tannehill. Try get it somewhere near him. It's like, just target him.
We're finally on to the evening slate. The Giants at Arizona.
And we can skip that one.
I think we can just fly through this one, to be honest.
Yeah, like two players. Yeah. Say their names and let's move on.
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley.
Yep.
Who's the other player?
Yeah.
Darren Waller. You can play Darren Waller. Dude didn't really play last week a whole while. I'd play Darren Waller again if you have him. You probably drafted him high enough if you have Darren Waller. I'd play him again. That's it. Move on. San Francisco.
Let's go.
We're going to have to talk about James Conner. Like, you do have to at least say, because people are going to be making this decision.
I would not play James Conner.
There's a reason we're moving on fast here.
Yeah, like
we're going anywhere near them.
Look,
that's an awful offense.
I think if you have Conner, I hope to God you have better running backs on your team. And he is a nice piece to keep around. And on a bye week, throw in Conner. He had a decent week. Nothing special, nothing magical, but a decent week. I would keep him as a low-end flex option to a bench option. I would hope to not have to play him. If I do have to play him, I'll play him. Realistically, Connor's upside this year, because their offense is so terrible, is incredibly high. But it's Arizona, and they're never going to be within 10 yards of the goal line to run it in. So, like, I'm not playing him.
San Francisco at the Rams. Brock Purdy versus Matt Stafford. Are you adding Brock Purdy to your roster just in case?
Yeah, possibly.
Purdy's definitely a quarterback you can play now. He was brilliant last week.
You can play him, but I wouldn't be excited about playing him.
Yeah, like if I was a Goff owner, I would be moving on to Brock Purdy. I think Goff owners are in to Goff because of the type of offense they play and the fact the offense is so explosive. So Brock Purdy is a better version of that. So I would move to Brock Purdy if I could.
Yep.
Christian McCaffrey, we don't need to discuss. We've talked about the Rams running backs. I think I'm moving on to Williams over Akers. Like,
I think you just stay away. I don't think you're anywhere near him. You do not want to run him. those running backs going up against the 49ers.
Yeah, but if you are like, there's definitely owners in leagues, I think is what Dan is saying, who have Cam Akers. Like Cam Akers was drafted kind of high.
Go to the waiver wire and pick up a running back.
I think but your best option or your easiest option if you're low down the waiver wire or whatever, and Kyron Williams is there, I would pivot to Kyron Williams is what Dan is saying.
But you could pivot to like Justice Hill, or you could pivot to even Josh Kelly, who are all better options than
Cam Akers.
Two of them.
Cam Akers went in the 3rd round of our draft.
Yeah, silly man.
Silly boy.
22 attempts for 29 yards.
That was it. That's ridiculous. I could do that.
Yeah,
that's over. That's over. It's over a yard of carry.
You definitely could do that, Jamie.
Give me 22 chances, I could definitely make one break.
You would be broken after one chance. I'd snap 2.5 after one, and that's the end of it.
Let's get a set up, lads. Let's get a set up. Contact, I don't know, a shit defense, and I'll give it a go. Like,
yeah, but they weren't playing a shit defense. They were playing the Pittsburgh Steelers, who got 3 sacks and 3 forced fumbles.
Fine, get me the Steelers defense.
DJ Watt would just look at you and eat you for breakfast. You stupid
I just run away from him. That's all right.
He is about 3 times the size, yeah, twice as heavy as you, and still would run the 100 meters 10 seconds faster than you.
Do you know when you play Madden and like they run all the way back to the goal line, just kind of run around?
Oh, dude,
like,
shut up.
You seem to think you are faster than these defensive players.
Too fucking
right. Which side would you rather have in a half PPR? Najee and Christian Watson, or Debo and Gainwell? Give me the Najee and the Watson side.
Whoa. Really?
Yeah, I just think Najee is just going to have more opportunity than Gainwell. I don't know why.
Yeah, but I just think Debo is going to outscore Najee and Watson combined.
Yeah, it depends on how Watson comes back. But yeah, I would go Debo Gainwell.
It's just fucking hard to know the 49ers.
That Packers offense, man, is going to be centered around the running game. Najee is not good enough, and Debo is going to be in the running game and the passing game. I just think 49ers, man, give me one of the top guys out of anywhere. They'd be a guy I'd take in over anyone.
Yep.
We'll move on then to the wide receiver. While we're speaking about Debo, the 49ers wide receivers, you're probably just playing Debo and Ayuk. Like, they don't really have. There's no real reason not to play either of them. Are you taking a shot at any of these Rams wide receivers?
Not this week, no. But I think Nakua is the guy you can pick up on waivers and just bench because he looks like
15 targets. Like, that's a rookie getting 15 targets. Definitely target him in your waivers and put him on your team. No one anything to say there.
I agree with John. I said pick him up. I go.
Tutu Atwell, Van Jefferson. I'm going to cut Van Jefferson if I have him on a roster. It's not worth wasting a roster spot. Higbee and Kittle, you're playing them both realistically. Yeah. That one's pretty straightforward. The Jets at Dallas, the game we've all wanted to talk about. Dak Prescott, you're going to just put him in your lineup for another week. We'll just write off that first week. They didn't need him to do anything. Zach Wilson, you're never going to play him. It's more his effect on other players in this team. We'll come to the wide receivers in a minute, but are you going to roll Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook again?
Breece Hall. Not sure about Cook.
So we'll put some options for the Dalvin Cook owners. Say you had Dalvin Cook or James Conner against the Giants.
Jesus Christ.
Roll with Dalvin Cook. The one thing I'll say about Dalvin Cook is Dalvin Cook has looked very good against the Cowboys the last 2 seasons he's played against them.
Would you go Dalvin Cook or James Cook against Vegas?
Probably Cook. Chance James Cook. Yeah, I probably would.
any of the Baltimore running backs?
God,
or
no.
Dalvin Cook?
No.
Then if we're kind of looking, maybe I don't know, we're not going to play any of the Indy ones. Pacheco or Dalvin Cook? Pacheco against Jacksonville.
Dalvin Cook.
Probably take Pacheco.
Herbert against Tampa Bay or Dalvin Cook?
Herbert.
Probably take Cook.
Joshua Kelly or Dalvin Cook? Joshua Kelly against the Titans?
Probably Cook.
That's a toss-up. I wouldn't really mind either of the two of them. I'd lean it towards Cook.
Tony Pollard was so good that we don't have any question marks there. That moves on. CeeDee Lamb, we're not going to really have to discuss that much. He's straight in.
Mm.
Then we come to the Garrett Wilson. Lazard had a lot of track when Zach Wilson came in, but does anyone have the stones to play Lazard?
Not now. Not where Rodgers gone. He's a Rodgers guy. That was the only reason he was going to get targets.
Garrett
I'd
Wilson.
agree.
Garrett Wilson or Terry McLaurin against Denver?
Something you see Wilson. Something he's alright.
Yeah, I'd lean to Wilson there as well.
Garrett Wilson or Amari Cooper against Pittsburgh?
See you home.
He's away.
No.
Dan, you know how this works.
Yeah, come on. He doesn't play road games.
Garrett Wilson or trying to find someone who's kind of on the line that you might think about. Mike Williams against Tennessee.
Yeah, I'd probably go towards Mike Williams a little bit there.
Yeah.
It's just hard. Like, are you actually going to bench Garrett Wilson? Realistically, you're not. Like, you're going to have too much of an emotional commitment because you drafted him in the second round.
What? A what commitment?
Emotional. Do you not have emotions?
I do. I love Derrick Henry. Like, I love Amon-Ra. Not been able to keep Amon-Ra this year was like cutting one of my children from the family.
You don't have children.
One of you theoretical.
If I did.
So very easy. Was
It's like the year that Jack went down and you had to keep playing CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, that was that's awful. But like Cooper Rush was complete ass, and Andy Dalton was actually the ginger guy who came in that year, and I just confused the two redheaded guys. But yeah.
Brandon Cooks, Gallup, I'm probably not going to play either of these. I'm just going to let this play out.
Yeah, I don't think you cut him. I don't think you tried to offload yet. I think stick with them because that offense didn't need to kick into high gear. And I think as good as the defense is, I think when you see the Dallas offense up and running, I think it could be special this year. Like from just Tony Pollard been so good. CeeDee Lamb is going to take a lot of coverage. And Brandon Cooks, man, every new team he's been on, I've said it before, he gets 1,000 yards his first year with him. I think Cooks could be like a real good high-end flex, high wide receiver too, even come the end of the season. You could be looking at Cooks having a great year. I wouldn't be cutting either of the two of them guys yet.
I don't care about either of the tight ends in this game, Conklin or Ferguson. We can just move on, I think. That tidies up that game nicely. Washington at Denver. This isn't, it's not blowing anyone's mind, this game in the fantasy circles, I would imagine, but we'll go through it anyway. Sam Howell, Russell Wilson, I'd rather play
no thanks.
Any other options, yeah. Javonte, what do we think? It wasn't great week one, was it?
No, but Peyton did say he was going to ease him in. They weren't putting a number on him just yet, but you knew he wasn't going to get a whole lot of snaps. The Samaje Perine looked fantastic, but I would flex either of those two guys because Perine and Williams, they went late enough that they probably are your flex options. So I'd happily keep them there.
Williams or Dalvin Cook from the last game?
Against Washington, man, Washington's defense is solid. Like they're not that bad. Their front seven is very strong. Like, I probably go with Williams just because the Cowboys were so dominant week 1. Like, I'd be a little bit afraid of playing anyone against the Cowboys defense coming into week 2. Like,
Brian Robinson on the other side, Jamie, would you play him?
I would like to stay away from those if at all possible. But then I think you could play Robinson. I think you can flex him. He did tidy enough first week. Like, the Broncos aren't great. Like, if he's going to play, if he's going to do something, he's going to do something here.
Thank you, Tequila Wolf.
Oh,
make sure to subscribe.
Yeah.
As we all go quiet.
Dan takes up a walk.
Sorry, I had to move room because I have a dog that's absolutely going fucking mental in the other room.
Okay, fair enough. I have a dog who's asleep on a cushion that I can't even see him behind me. It's
actually nice to get
it. Sorry, go on. No, you work away, buddy. You've had the floor.
Going back to Brian Robinson, like Jamie says, we're probably going to try and avoid those, but if you're in a pinch like Brian Robinson or James Conner.
Jesus Christ, like
I would play Brian Robinson.
Yeah, 100%. Like,
yeah, I would play Brian Robinson, dude.
We're not picking James Conner. Like, it's just not gonna happen.
It's like, I know you're a Cardinals fan and you have to be some way optimistic for the season. Yeah, you can't commit to just we're getting the number 1 overall pick straight away week 1, but just accept it, dude. You got like at least the 2nd overall pick this year.
Yeah, it's not happening.
Oh, we have another question coming in here, actually. Would this be a fair trade? Judy P. Ryan and AJ Dillon for Waller and Kamara. Has Higbee as the only tight end, and my running backs are ETN, Connor, Rashad White trying to pick up Rayshon. That one's tough.
I don't know. Could I do that just because Judy's injured again now, isn't he?
Yeah, he's out for a few weeks. P. Ryan.
Well, he's down on this to play again.
Yeah, I don't know how much I trust that.
Yeah, but if Judy's healthy, I think it's fair enough that if I was the Waller owner and I had Kamara there, Kamara's not going to be back till week 6. So I think Samaje P. Ryan played well enough to justify me trading Waller for Judy and AJ Dillon, because AJ Dillon might be in line for a full week of snaps this week if Jones isn't good to go. So, and AJ Dillon is touchdown reliant, and you have ETN and Rashad White. You know, you could probably get away with playing them over Dillon anyway.
I'd definitely be looking to get rid of Dillon and P-Ryan now, because I think their value is only going to go down because Williams is going to take over the backfield for Denver, and Dillon just is not that guy anymore, you know. So I would definitely take Waller and Kamara.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'd make the trade. I would, and depending on what my needs were, I don't think it's too unbalanced. I think the Waller Kamara side is obviously the better upside, but I suppose it just depends where you're sitting at it. But like, I don't think it's too unbalanced.
No, I think it's right.
How quickly is Kamara back? It's 3 games he's banned for, isn't it?
No, I don't think he's back to like week 6. Is he not, dude?
No, I think he's back like week 4. We can vet that though. We have Google.
Fair enough.
I'd probably give up. I'd give up the Judy side. I'd probably like Judy might not be back. How good is Russ? Like
back week 4.
Week 4, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, in that case, I think I trade Judy, P. Ryan, and Dillon for Waller and Kamara.
Yeah, I think we're all on the same page with that. So,
yeah.
Is Madison and Javonte too much for Pollard? No, I don't think so. I'd prefer to have Pollard over Madison and Javonte.
I think that's
if you have Bijan.
Yeah, that's fair. I go do that. Definitely.
Shane?
I keep Pollard, dude.
No, he's traded. They're trading.
Pollard.
Madison
Oh,
and
they're
Javon
trading to go
Pollard.
get Pollard.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely do that. Yeah, Pollard's a fucking stud.
I wouldn't do that around. No.
Yeah, no way. Like if that's an offer on the table, just like take it, say thank you, and then laugh maniacally because it's just like daylight robbery.
The receivers in this Denver-Washington game, Terry McLaurin.
I have him, and he will be benched.
Yeah, I can't blame you. Like, you didn't get much, did you, in week 1?
No, again, I'm not hitting the panic button here. It's just I again have better options according to me on the bench.
Dotson's probably going to the bench as well. If I can avoid Dotson, I need to see Sam Howell again next week and see what's going on.
Yeah,
I think most of the receivers this thing, man. If you can avoid not playing him, you don't play him.
Yeah, I don't think you play a lot here, really, do you?
No, just the running backs, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's it, really.
Even then, you're only playing one Washington running back.
You're not looking at the Titans, anyway. Well, maybe Troutman,
No.
but
Yeah, I wouldn't be thrilled about Troutman. Like if I can avoid that as well.
yeah.
We're moving on to the evening game on Sunday. We're getting there. Miami at New England. Tua is a smash play, but would you play Mac Jones in any situation?
Yeah, I think, look, depending on what your situation is, I don't think, other than Rodgers, we didn't lose any QBs. So if you had one that went really badly for you, I wouldn't be against picking up Mac Jones, but the Dolphins are classy. So he did well against a good defense with the Eagles. Can he do it again?
Tequila Wolf, Aaron Rodgers did his best impersonation of Nick Cage and gone in 60 seconds.
Jesus Christ.
Dark.
Yeah.
Raheem Mostert, his week 1 wasn't too bad. Are you going to roll again?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I don't see why
I
not.
think
Mostert was a late enough pickup most drafts again. Like he was 6th round kind of guy.
Oh, Mostert was down in like 10th, I think.
Was he that low? I thought he was like 6th, 7th.
He's going below A-Chain, yeah.
Jesus. Yeah, definitely play Mostert again. If you drafted Mostert, play him again. He's definitely a flex option for you. So stick him in there.
Akane, or what's it called? He's back. He could be back next week. If he's back next week, he's gonna just pull the snaps on him.
I would still play Mostert. I'd take the chance on him being flexed. I reckon again that's going to be one of them. That's going to be a Jamari Gibbs situation there. He's not going to get as many as what you think, especially come back off of been out week 1. So I think Mostert is going to get. I think if you put him in another week, you get the points out of him, and then you could probably sell on Mostert. That's probably the way I would play it. I don't think I tried to move him yet. His value won't have gone up enough. I'm greedy.
Ramondre Stevenson on the other side, it wasn't the most exciting of first weeks, but you're committed to him at this stage.
Yeah, I think he's alright.
Happy I missed Ramondre. He was a target of mine this year. Missed out on him, but happy to miss out on him. The Elliott pickup happened, and I went kind of a little bit down on Ramondre, but he's still obviously 3rd round guy. You're playing him like.
Yeah, I just don't think he's a running back 1. He just doesn't give that aura about him as a guy who could lead the backfield. I think Elliott could really take a laugh from him there.
Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, we don't really have to talk about them. They're straight in. These New England wide receivers. Kendrick Bourne, we should have brought him up in the waivers like he had some week last week.
Yeah, but
do you have
it's in the pan?
Yeah, it's a thing with Patriots receivers. Like Jacoby Myers had that with the Patriots like a year ago, didn't he? Like he hit one good game and then he disappeared to like getting 5s and 6, like 3 or 4 weeks, and then he'd have another game and then you get nothing. Like I don't trust Patriots receivers. Just burnt too many times.
Would you look towards Hunter Henry at the tight end position?
Yeah, that's the one thing you can rely on with the Patriots is usually they have good tight ends. So Henry didn't hit the heights last year, but like I think this year could be a good year for Henry because Gesicki is just not good.
Jamie, is there anything else you want to say about this matchup?
Not really. Oh, well, Braxton Berrios is a guy to stash. He looked quite good last week. Obviously, he's not going to get the targets out of Waddle or Hill, but one of them goes down, his production goes through the roof.
Yeah, if you wanted to put him on the back of your bench and just see, I think you kind of are waiting for an injury, though, aren't you?
Yeah, I think you're not going to start him or anything, but could be a guy you pick off free agency. If you have space, don't otherwise.
The Saints at Carolina. I'm not going to play any receiving options for Carolina. Maybe the tight end Hayden Hurst that you brought up earlier, Shane.
Yeah, I think you could sit in Hurst happily this week if you can get him on waivers.
And then Miles Sanders, you're probably just going to put him in your RB2 spot without really thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Jamie, on the Saints side, are you excited to play any of the running backs here? Like Kendre Miller might be back.
I think you can play Jamal Williams. I think he's got enough of him there. I know he had a poor first week, but we know like last year he was quite good for the Lions when he was able to lead us. So like that's a flash in the pan that he wasn't very good. I think he'd be fine here. I definitely think you can start him. I don't think Kendre Miller is going to take that much from him, especially now. You know, it's the same kind of cracks we were saying with like Gibbs and who was it, a rookie that we were running with 10 minutes ago? Acne. Same kind of cracks, John. So we were saying Shane that like he's not going to be put straight in. I think Jamal Williams is fine there for a couple of weeks.
And then Olave, Mike Thomas.
Straight into the team.
Yeah.
Straight in,
Mike
locks.
Might be like, are you playing Mike Thomas, or are you going to go back again with someone like Terry McLaurin against Denver?
I'd shoot for Terry over Mike Thomas just because Olave. Like I think Sam Howell can't be as bad as what he was last week against the Cardinals. Like that was a major reason the Cardinals stayed around. But Mike Thomas class, but McLaurin's got to get better. Like that was a bad game. I don't think McLaurin is that bad again this week. I think I would take him over Thomas.
How about Mike Thomas over DJ Moore, Jamie?
Yeah, 100%. I actually think these three wide receivers here for the Saints, you could actually nearly flex them on. Like even Shaheed last week had a very good game and looked a very good threat. So if you needed a flex option, I think you could even flex him. So they're not a bad set of wide receivers, to be fair.
The last game of the week, then. There's two Monday night games this week. So it's Cleveland at Pittsburgh. Deshaun Watson, Kenny Pickett. I can tell you now, I'm not playing any receiving options for Pittsburgh. Maybe Freiermuth.
Yeah, Freiermuth. If Freiermuth's only contribution was the touchdown, like he had a couple of targets, but the touchdown saved his week this week. That's it. Kenny Pickett needs to pick his shit up and play better. He's just that was awful week one. Now you're playing the 49ers as well.
Yeah, that's not panic yet, but yeah, look, he's not. He ain't that guy. He's not that guy, but it'll be a much better matchup. You know.
Hell, son, you're about as useful as a cock-flavored lollipop.
Basically,
George Pickens and Allen Robinson. There's not a hope in hell I'm playing either of them. So I wouldn't entertain the idea over anything like.
Nope.
Nick Chubb, straight in. I'd probably play Deshaun Watson over a lot of quarterbacks. He seemed to be all right with his rushing baseline.
Yeah. He seemed like a decent guy. I just wouldn't play Deshaun Watson.
Your own moral compass.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. Seriously. No. That's the reason why. Yeah. No.
What moral compass?
You do something wrong?
Yeah. No. Deshaun Watson. He's just stay out of teams. I don't draft people of that nature.
Amari Cooper away from home.
No.
No.
Do not.
You're playing Elijah Moore.
Yeah.
Elijah Moore is the guy.
Or Donovan Peoples-Jones.
No, Elijah Moore. I think Elijah Moore is actually a very good pick here. I think he could do well.
Because someone has to catch the ball. Because Amari's
someone has to catch.
Yeah, Amari's not going to get it. Like,
would you play Elijah Moore or Rasheed Rice against Jacksonville?
Moore.
Yeah, I'd probably jump on Moore there as well.
Guy knows who's going to catch the ball. The Chiefs, like
Elijah Moore or Jackson Smith and Jigba against Detroit.
Moore.
Elijah Moore or Dobbs against Atlanta.
Moore. Elijah Moore or Jordan Addison.
Addison, yeah.
Yeah.
Very high on Moore. David Njoku, any interest?
Yeah, I think Njoku, he's only going to progress. Solid little week for him. Not major. Tight ends in general were very lackluster this week, but I think, I like Njoku. I like the upside he has. I'd stick with him.
Njoku or Cole Kmet against Tampa Bay?
Njoku.
Yeah.
How about Everett against Tennessee?
Njoku.
Yeah, probably stick with Njoku as well.
Kittle against the Rams?
No, I jump back to Kittle just for the namesake value. That's it, though.
That's
and it's 49ers explosive offense. I think it could, like, if it was Gerald Everett in the 49ers offense, I'd jump on Everett as well. Like.
Yeah.
That brings all the matchups to an end. We'll answer these last two questions very quickly here. What do you all think about Pickens, Terry, Akers for Trevor, Connor, and Brian Robinson? Oh, sorry, no, it's Connor or Brian Robinson. So you have Trevor Lawrence and James Conner for Akers, Terry McLaurin, and Pickens. If you could trade Pickens, Terry McLaurin, and Akers for, I know there's a lot of hate going on about Connor here, but at least he gets snaps. Like, Jesus, Akers going to be worth nothing. Pickens has Pickett throwing in the ball, so he's worth nothing. Then Terry McLaurin, it's kind of up in the air a bit, isn't it?
No, Sam Howell can't get it up there.
Yeah, Trevor and Brian Robinson, like, be all over that. I'm still not high enough in Connor to take him in a trade, to be honest.
Even if you're great.
But I completely understand your logic. You know, I do. But I couldn't.
Yeah, I think I'm swinging a little bit towards Connor, though. I think Connor doesn't have speed to break out 30 yards and run in the ball, and I just don't see a whole lot of occasions where the Cardinals are going to be anyway decent enough to get short yardage situations enough. Obviously, they will have them, but to get enough for Connor to be extremely effective. Like, he's going to be extremely touchdown reliant.
Yeah.
I think it's just going to be a lot of 3 yards a carry, but he gets 20 carries, so you get up to your 6 points, you know?
Yeah.
That's going to be what it is. It's just going to be a steady baseline. I think that's all it is. You're by no means going to break 15 points in a week with him, but you might at least get to 10, you know?
Yeah, like he's a steady Eddie. That's what you're getting out of Connor. He's a handy guy to have for a bye week. I wouldn't be trying to start him any way, shape, or form. Have him on the bench for a bye week. When bye weeks are over, see you later. I want someone who I can probably get 1 or 2 good weeks out of. That might be better than a 10-point game.
I still take Brian Robinson over them. Like, I think you could flex Robinson most weeks. You know, I just wouldn't feel comfortable flexing Connor all the time because he's going to get duds. They're just not good enough on offense.
I think
Doesn't
this week
matter
will
how
tell
good
a
he is.
lot for Brian Robson.
Jesus, they don't score this week.
Kyler
will come back eventually, though.
We'll revisit that next week. Someone write that down.
That brings all the matchups and questions to an end. Thanks to everyone for watching, listening, and giving us all your questions. It really gets us through the 2 hours.
Yeah, we missed last week, and we ended up doing an extra hour this week. We made it up,
the
lads.
Stuff we do to our fans. Yeah?
We'll be back the same time next week. Oh, will we go for this last question? What RB?
Go on, give it to Jonesy. We'll give it to Jonesy.
On Jonesy.
What RB or should I target with 3 of them? They're on my sell list. Okay, so he wants to sell these 3 players. He wants to sell Pickens, Terry, and Akers. You're going to struggle to sell them
for a decent running back.
I don't think he's too bad with Brian Robinson there. I really don't. I think there's a bit of upside there at least. And I think you could trade Robinson on again if you had to.
Yeah, I would be trying to trade Akers anyway, get him off your team as quickly as you can when he had the touchdown this week.
I think you have more trade value in Robinson than you have in those 3 players combined.
Well, if you're getting rid of those, I would say there's still value in Terry. I would maybe just cut fucking Pickens and pick up someone else. But Terry and Akers, I think you can move. Do you think you could get a Rashad White or Khalil Herbert and just take a shot that they're not going to be, that they will just get better and better? Do you think you could get Terry and Akers for those 2? Someone, especially if the Herbert owner is struggling for wide receiver help.
Might get White. That's not a bad shout. I think there's
Pacheco,
enough upside.
Would you get Pacheco for those 2 guys? Probably not. Pacheco's probably a little bit out of reach.
You might be able to look at Miles Sanders, but again, it's probably a little bit out of reach. Akers was a 5th round pick as well as the issue,
Yeah. This year, running backs are just it's tough because there's a good few rookies came in. There's a lot of committee play, and any of the bell cows, you're not. It's so hard to trade for him. He has White already.
Okay, never mind.
Oh,
maybe go look at James.
Samaje P. Ryan, is there upside there? Jamal Williams, is it any of those kind of guys? James Cook again, as I said earlier.
I'm not going near Jamal Williams because there's just too much of a chance that backfield will get crowded quickly when Miller gets back, and then you have Kamara coming back in as well.
So are we saying you're better then maybe to just go waiver wire, try get a game or something like that for the time being? And
maybe just start Kareem Hunt because he'll be signed with the Ravens in about an hour.
Yeah, very true. Kareem Hunt. That could be the man. That could be the pickup of the week.
All right. Anyway, we need to wrap this up and get out of here. Thanks everyone for listening and watching. Follow us on Instagram. Not Instagram. We don't have an Instagram. Like and subscribe on YouTube, and then follow us on X at IF Punts. Boys, you want to say your goodbyes, farewells there while I try and find this outro music?
Good luck to you, lads.
Best of luck, lads. Talk to you next week.
Bye-bye.